Hello everyone and welcome to my B&B CBS Gossip 24 channel. The latest twist in the ever-drama-filled world of the bold and the beautiful has sent shockwaves through the Forrester family and beyond, leaving viewers gasping and fan theories running wild, as Hope's life takes a turn so scandalous and emotionally charged that it threatens to redefine every relationship she holds dear, particularly with Liam, the man she vowed to spend her life with, and Carter, whose connection to her has now turned from complicated attraction into life-altering consequence, as the revelation that she is carrying Carter's child after marrying Liam not only shatters the carefully constructed illusions of marital bliss but also brings to the forefront the deep emotional betrayals and moral complexities that have always been the hallmark of the show, creating a tension-filled narrative ripe with conflicting loyalties, personal anguish, and the inexorable pull of forbidden love, as viewers are forced to confront the dissonance between Hope's public persona as a devoted wife and her private entanglement with Carter, a man who represents both temptation and a future she never intended to claim, making every smile, every embrace, and every whispered word now loaded with an almost unbearable weight of unspoken truths, while Liam, caught in the crossfire of love, betrayal, and unexpected parenthood, grapples with the realization that the life he thought he was building with Hope is now precariously perched on the edge of heartbreak and disillusionment, with the wedding that was meant to solidify their union instead becoming the crucible in which all hidden secrets have erupted into the open, forcing Hope to navigate an emotional labyrinth of guilt, fear, and desire, torn between the man who has been her partner, protector, and symbol of stability and the man whose child she now carries, representing both a past that refuses to remain buried and a future that threatens to rewrite everything she has known about love, loyalty, and family, while Carter, positioned in a liminal space of hope and longing, must confront his own complicity in the tangled web, wrestling with feelings of joy, regret, and the knowledge that the child he helped create will forever bind him to a woman who has publicly pledged herself to another. And as the Forrester family, friends, and the wider community of Los Angeles catch wind of the scandal, the shock, gossip, and emotional fallout ripple outward, igniting fierce debates over morality, forgiveness, and the very nature of love itself, all while social expectations, personal reputations, and the omnipresent scrutiny of a society obsessed with scandal amplify every decision and misstep, creating a narrative tension so thick that every glance, every conversation, and every moment is pregnant with the possibility of further revelation and drama. And as the days following the wedding unfold, the intertwined destinies of Hope, Liam, and Carter become a study in human vulnerability, ambition, and the often cruel interplay of timing and circumstance, revealing that even the most carefully planned lives are subject to the whims of fate, emotion, and unanticipated consequences, as Hope struggles with the physical and emotional realities of her pregnancy, navigating medical appointments, societal judgment, and her own conflicted heart, all while attempting to maintain a facade of composure for Liam, whose love, though genuine, is now challenged by the stark reality that he is bound in marriage to a woman whose body harbors the child of another, creating an emotional landscape fraught with jealousy, betrayal, longing, and the painful recognition that love is not always linear or fair. And in this crucible of heightened drama, Hope's character is pushed to her limits, exploring themes of maternal instinct, personal accountability, and the complexities of romantic entanglement, while Carter's presence looms as a constant reminder of what was, what could have been, and what is, irrevocably intertwined with their shared past. And as viewers watch the delicate threads of this story weave together, the tension between public perception and private reality grows ever more pronounced, compelling the audience to grapple with questions of morality, empathy, and the capacity for forgiveness, as Hope and Liam confront the legal, emotional, and social implications of a marriage overshadowed by infidelity, while Carter must navigate his evolving role not only as the biological father but as a potential anchor in Hope's turbulent life. And as the narrative unfolds, it becomes evident that the stakes extend far beyond the immediate love triangle, touching on broader questions of identity, personal choice, and the enduring impact of decisions made in moments of passion or vulnerability, with each character's arc serving as a mirror reflecting the intricate dance between desire, duty, and consequence. And as tension escalates, the audience witnesses the psychological and emotional toll on every individual, from Liam's struggle with feelings of betrayal and inadequacy, to Hope's inner turmoil over loyalty and love, to Carter's oscillation between elation and guilt, all of which converge to create a story that is as emotionally resonant as it is scandalous, challenging notions of right and wrong while offering a raw exploration of the human heart's capacity for error, resilience, and ultimately the pursuit of happiness even amidst seemingly insurmountable obstacles. And the show's signature ability to blend sensational plot twists with deeply human moments ensures that this storyline will not merely entertain but provoke reflection, as audiences are invited to witness the unraveling of expectations, the collision of love and obligation, and the indelible mark left by secrets revealed, culminating in a scenario where every conversation, every glance, and every decision carries weighty implications. And as the weeks progress, the interplay between Hope's pregnancy, her marriage to Liam, and her past with Carter will undoubtedly fuel further intrigue, emotional upheaval, and moral questioning, solidifying this arc as one of the most compelling and talked-about developments in the soap opera's long and storied history, encapsulating everything that makes The Bold and the Beautiful a cultural touchstone: love, betrayal, scandal, and the unrelenting drama of lives intertwined in ways both heartbreaking and exhilarating, proving once again that in the world of Forrester and beyond, nothing is ever simple, every choice has consequences, and the line between love and betrayal is as thin as it is devastating, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, hearts in turmoil, and minds racing to anticipate the next twist in a tale where a single secret, Hope carrying Carter's child after marrying Liam, has the power to redefine relationships, challenge personal values, and set the stage for a dramatic, emotionally charged, and utterly unforgettable chapter in the saga of the Forrester legacy, as the unfolding story promises to test the limits of forgiveness, redefine familial bonds, and illustrate, in the most intense and human way possible, that love in all its forms is rarely straightforward, always complicated, and endlessly compelling. As the fallout from Hope's shocking revelation, that she is carrying Carter's child after committing herself in marriage to Liam, continues to ripple through the lives of everyone involved, the emotional landscape becomes even more intricate, layered, and fraught with tension, as the personal and social consequences of her actions refuse to remain contained, spilling over into every corner of her world and leaving no character untouched, from the Forrester family, whose reputation and internal dynamics are constantly under scrutiny, to Liam, whose love, loyalty, and sense of self are now tested in ways he could never have imagined, and to Carter, whose position as the biological father now forces him into an emotional tightrope walk between responsibility, desire, and the awareness that any move he makes will reverberate through multiple lives, as Hope herself navigates a labyrinth of conflicting emotions, oscillating between fear, guilt, maternal instinct, and lingering affection. For Carter, even as she strives to maintain a semblance of normalcy in her marriage to Liam, whose own inner turmoil is amplified by the external pressures of societal expectation, familial scrutiny, and the public nature of their union, as the Forrester family, ever vigilant and opinionated, wrestles with their own allegiances and judgments, with Reach, Brooke, and others caught in the delicate balance of protecting their children, managing their social image, and offering guidance that is as often colored by personal bias as it is by genuine care, all while the broader Los Angeles elite and the media, ever hungry for scandal, seize upon the story with relish, amplifying every whisper into a roar, leaving Hope, Liam, and Carter to contend not only with the intimate consequences of their entanglement but also with the relentless glare of public opinion, which judges, praises, condemns, and sensationalizes every action. And as the days pass, the psychological impact on each character deepens, with Liam struggling with feelings of inadequacy, betrayal, and a desperate desire to preserve the integrity of the marriage he entered in good faith, even as he wrestles with the undeniable presence of another man's child in the life he hoped to build with Hope, while Hope herself experiences waves of anxiety, excitement, and confusion, balancing the physical and emotional demands of pregnancy with the moral and relational implications of her secret, understanding that the choices she makes in the coming weeks and months will define not only her own sense of self but also the trajectory of multiple lives intertwined in ways that are both deeply personal and publicly scrutinized. And Carter, meanwhile, confronts the duality of his emotions: joy at the impending fatherhood, anguish at the impossibility of claiming a traditional family structure, and the constant tension between wanting to support Hope while recognizing that any overreach could fracture her marriage further. Situation made all the more complex by the residual romantic history, professional entanglements and social positioning of each character, as well as by the ever-present potential for additional revelations or conflicts that could exacerbate the situation at any moment, creating a continuous atmosphere of suspense and high-stakes emotional negotiation. And as these dynamics play out, the broader implications for the Forrester family and their business empire also come into focus as personal drama is inextricably linked to professional interests, alliances, and rivalries, forcing characters to consider not only what is morally right but also what will protect their financial, social, and reputational standing. And the tension is further heightened by the presence of friends, extended family members, and peripheral characters, each of whom has a stake in the unfolding drama, whether through loyalty, envy, or self-interest, thereby creating a dense web of interactions in which every conversation, gesture, and glance carries multiple layers of meaning, while the physical manifestations of stress, such as sleepless nights, heightened emotional sensitivity, and strained interactions, underscore the realism and relatability of the story, drawing the audience into the intimate and often painful experiences of the central characters. And as Hope's pregnancy progresses, the practical realities of impending parenthood, doctor's visits, preparation for a child, and the negotiation of living arrangements collide with the emotional and relational complexities of her situation, highlighting the tension between natural human instincts, societal expectations, and the ethical dilemmas posed by secret parentage. While Liam's responses fluctuate between supportive, hurt, resentful, and reflective, illustrating the multidimensionality of his character as someone who must reconcile love, betrayal, and responsibility within the same emotional framework. And Carter, navigating his own journey, must also consider the long-term consequences of his actions, not only in terms of immediate relationships but also regarding his role in the life of a child he did not raise under conventional circumstances, prompting a re-evaluation of identity, parental responsibility, and personal boundaries. And as all these forces intersect, the storyline reveals itself as a microcosm of human relational complexity, where the choices of a few ripple outward to impact many, and the audience is invited to witness, empathize with, and even judge the nuanced interplay of love, desire, obligation, and morality with every interaction, whether charged with tension, affection, or conflict, serving as a moment of reflection on the intricate balance between personal happiness and social expectation, between forgiveness and accountability, and between the inexorable consequences of passion and the deliberate acts of self-restraint. And as this drama continues to unfold, the storytelling employs a range of narrative techniques to heighten engagement, including cliffhangers, emotional monologues, strategic confrontations, and subtle visual cues that underscore the inner lives of characters, thereby creating a rich tapestry in which viewers are not mere observers but active participants in interpreting, predicting, and emotionally reacting to the unfolding saga. And while the immediate focus is on the central triangle of Hope, Liam, and Carter, the implications for secondary characters, friends, siblings, business associates, and extended family, further enrich the narrative, offering subplots that mirror, contrast, or amplify the central conflict. And in doing so, the series highlights the interconnectedness of personal and social spheres, revealing how private decisions resonate publicly and how personal failings or triumphs are seldom confined to a single individual. And as Hope navigates the physical changes of pregnancy, the emotional turbulence, and the constant negotiation of her relationships, the storyline also examines the societal pressures imposed on women in similar circumstances, shedding light on themes of judgment, expectation, and the complex moral landscape that women often traverse when balancing personal desire, familial loyalty, and social scrutiny. While Liam's journey provides insight into male vulnerability, the negotiation of masculinity in the face of betrayal, and the challenge of reconciling love with disappointment, and Carter's experience adds yet another layer, exploring the father's perspective, the negotiation of personal ethics, and the tension between presence and propriety, all of which coalesce into a narrative that is as emotionally resonant as it is narratively intricate, demanding that viewers engage not just with the unfolding events but also with the psychological, ethical, and relational dimensions that drive character behavior and plot development. And as the series progresses, the unresolved tensions, potential confrontations, and the anticipation of eventual revelations, whether regarding paternity, feelings, or future decisions, maintain a sense of narrative momentum and suspense, compelling audiences to invest emotionally, predict outcomes and grapple with their own responses to the moral and emotional dilemmas presented. And the writer's skillful blending of personal drama, family dynamics, and societal commentary ensures that this storyline operates on multiple levels, offering both entertainment and reflective depth, as well as providing ample opportunity for character development, redemption arcs, and the eventual resolution of conflict, whether through reconciliation, confrontation, or acceptance. And within this context, every interaction, from casual conversation to explosive confrontation, takes on heightened significance, as characters navigate a world in which love is never simple, loyalty is constantly tested, and the consequences of secrecy and passion are both immediate and enduring. And as Hope, Liam, and Carter continue to negotiate their respective positions in this complex emotional and social terrain, the audience is drawn into a sustained meditation on human behavior, relational ethics, and the intricate dance between personal happiness, moral responsibility, and the unpredictable forces of circumstance, ultimately culminating in a story that is rich in drama, morally challenging and emotionally compelling, a narrative that captures the essence of the bold and the beautiful, the intertwining of love, betrayal, desire, consequence, and the relentless pursuit of understanding, connection, and resolution in a world where every choice carries profound implications for the self and for others, and where the future, both immediate and long-term, remains uncertain, fraught with risk, and yet full of potential for growth, reconciliation, and the ultimate realization that, despite betrayal and heartache, human beings continue to navigate the treacherous, exhilarating, and deeply moving terrain of love, family, and identity, making this storyline not only a captivating saga of scandal and romance but also a timeless exploration of the enduring complexities of the human heart. As the reverberations of Hope's revelation, that she is carrying Carter's child after marrying Liam, continue to permeate every facet of the intertwined lives of those closest to her, the emotional, psychological, and social consequences expand in complexity, creating a scenario in which no decision, gesture, or conversation can be taken lightly, as the tension between private desire and public expectation becomes increasingly pronounced, and the interplay between morality, loyalty, and love reaches new heights, compelling each character to confront the consequences of past actions while grappling with the uncertainty of the future, as Hope, caught in the delicate balance between the excitement and fear of impending motherhood and the moral weight of her secret, experiences a turbulent array of emotions that shift unpredictably from joy and anticipation to guilt and apprehension, with each day bringing a new challenge in maintaining the appearance of a harmonious marriage with Liam, while simultaneously nurturing a clandestine bond with Carter, whose presence in her life is at once a source of comfort, nostalgia, and moral tension. And as these dual realities collide, the strain on Hope's psyche becomes increasingly evident, manifesting in moments of hesitation, inner conflict, and emotional vulnerability, forcing her to confront not only the immediate implications of her pregnancy but also the broader questions of identity, self-worth, and the moral compass that guides her choices, while Liam, who has always prided himself on his integrity, compassion, and devotion to Hope, finds his carefully constructed understanding of their marriage and their future unraveling, as the knowledge that the child Hope carries is not his own challenges his sense of masculinity, security, and trust, leaving him oscillating between anger, hurt, longing, and an almost desperate desire to maintain the bond he thought was unshakable, and in doing so he is forced to navigate a labyrinth of emotion, confronting both the betrayal and the reality of a love that remains deeply intertwined with the woman he married, even as external pressures from family, friends, and the broader Los Angeles social scene compound the intensity of his struggle, with Ridge, Brooke, and other family members offering guidance, commentary, and judgment that is as emotionally charged as it is morally nuanced, creating an environment in which every word, gesture, and expression is loaded with significance, forcing each character to engage in constant interpretation and recalibration of their relationships. And Carter, positioned at the intersection of past romance and present consequence, must reconcile the joy of impending fatherhood with the moral and emotional ramifications of a situation that defies social convention, while contending with the knowledge that his presence, however limited or controlled, will inevitably impact the life of a child he helped create and the marriage of a woman he still loves. creating a tension that is as emotionally devastating as it is narratively compelling. And as the Forrester family dynamics are further strained by the revelation, questions of loyalty, reputation, and influence arise as Ridge and Brooke grapple with their roles as parents, mentors, and moral arbiters, navigating the delicate line between support and interference, guidance and judgment. While the ripple effects of Hope's pregnancy extend beyond immediate family to friends, colleagues, and the broader community, each of whom becomes an unwitting participant in the unfolding drama, whether through direct interaction, observation, or gossip, magnifying the social stakes and creating a pervasive sense of tension and anticipation. And within this crucible of emotional and social complexity, Hope's character is further explored in all her multidimensionality, as she struggles to balance her desires, responsibilities, and ethical considerations, oscillating between moments of strength and vulnerability, clarity and confusion, while constantly weighing the impact of her choices on the lives of those she loves, particularly Liam, whose emotional investment in the marriage is profound, and Carter, whose emotional and parental connection to the unborn child adds layers of complication that are both heartwarming and heartbreakingly difficult. And as each day passes, the practical realities of pregnancy, health considerations, medical appointments, preparation for a child, and physical changes intertwine with the psychological and relational dynamics, heightening stress, emotional sensitivity, and the potential for confrontation, while simultaneously reinforcing the depth and realism of the narrative, inviting viewers to empathize with the characters' struggles and to contemplate the often messy intersection of personal desire, moral responsibility, and relational obligation. And as Liam contends with the dual challenge of preserving his marriage while processing feelings of betrayal, inadequacy, and uncertainty, the audience witnesses a raw and unflinching exploration of human emotion, with each reaction, decision, and internal struggle providing insight into the complexity of navigating love, loss, and loyalty under extraordinary circumstances. While Carter's journey emphasizes the enduring power of connection, responsibility, and choice, illustrating that even in situations defined by transgression and secrecy, human beings seek meaning, understanding, and a role in shaping the lives of those they love. And as these individual narratives unfold, the interactions between characters generate layered tensions, from explosive confrontations to quiet, charged silences, with each moment carrying the potential to either heal, escalate, or further complicate the situation, thereby maintaining a constant sense of suspense and emotional engagement for the audience. And as Hope continues to grapple with the dual realities of marriage and pregnancy, the story delves into themes of personal integrity, relational ethics, and the social expectations imposed on women, examining how judgment, loyalty, and desire intersect in ways that challenge simplistic notions of right and wrong, while Liam's experience provides a counterpoint, exploring male vulnerability, emotional resilience, and the complex negotiation of love and betrayal. Anne Carter's perspective adds yet another dimension, interrogating the father's role, the moral challenges of secrecy, and the tension between personal desire and ethical responsibility, creating a multifaceted narrative that is as morally rich as it is emotionally compelling. And the audience is invited not only to follow the plot but to engage with these deeper questions of identity, relational dynamics, and the ethical landscape that governs human behavior, as the story demonstrates that love, loyalty, and morality are rarely linear or simple, and that the consequences of choices, whether driven by passion, mistake, or circumstance, are profound and far-reaching, influencing not only immediate relationships but also long-term familial, social, and personal trajectories. And as the narrative unfolds, the interplay between private desires and public consequences is made increasingly explicit, with the characters' actions scrutinized not only by each other but also by the wider social and familial network, heightening tension and forcing a continual negotiation of behavior, perception, and intention, while simultaneously deepening the audience's understanding of the psychological, emotional, and relational stakes at play. And as Hope's pregnancy progresses, the anticipation of the child's arrival serves as both a source of